Hello everyone and welcome back to the Auto Alex V2 channel. Today you join me and my new E46 project car. This I've had for about a month now, I'm going to say. It's got a little bit of a story behind it. It used to belong to one of my best mates, Lee, and I actually took this car as a part exchange for my E46 Alpina that you would have seen in previous videos that I manual swapped. Now, Lee had this car for about 7 years, did quite a lot to it. It started off as a bit of a low spec SE 318i. He's done quite a lot to it over the years, and his dream car was an E46 Alpina. So I said, well, there's a bit of a deal to be done here. He contacted me, we had a little chitty chat. Cut a long story short, he ended up with the Alpina and I've ended up with this, and I am absolutely besotted by it. I love it. I love having an E46 in my life, and the fact that it's a touring is even better. But there are going to be a few little changes to this car because I've got quite a lot of plans for it. Starting off at the front, it's got an AC Schnitzer front spoiler. It's got these. Now, these are one of the main reasons why I actually wanted this car. These are genuine Racing Dynamics 17-inch wheels. They're really hard to find these days, and I think they complement this car really, really well. Other than that, it's got AC Schnitzer side skirts, AC Schnitzer wing mirrors, which are also really rare, and it has an AC Schnitzer rear bumper, sort of rear valance bit at the bottom. This car is quite rare because it's sienna red. It's a pre-facelift, so again, quite hard to find now. You don't see many pre-facelift Tourings left on the road. It's got a two-tone black and grey interior. Now, normally, I don't really like grey interiors. I'll be honest, they're a bit Marmite. But this one I like because it's got black carpets and it's got half black door cards, and I think it sort of tones it down a little bit. It looks really smart. Now the engine. It started life, as I said, as a 318i, so it would have been a 4-cylinder 16 valve, and it now has a 2.8 M52 TU, which came from a really early E46 Saloon 328i. Now this engine is going to be coming out very soon and going into Rory's BMW E28 that we're going to be taking to Poland. What's going to be going back in this, you ask? Now, I've always wanted to do an engine swap. I've never done one before, and there's a certain engine that I've always wanted to put in an E46 that I've never done, and that is, if you know BMWs, a bit of a BMW nerd, an M62 B44 non-TU, which is the engine and gearbox from my 540i manual that you would have seen in previous videos as well. That is a 4.4 litre quad cam V8. Yes, I'm going to be putting that in this, which I am mega excited about. Now, when Lee did the engine swap on this car previously, he painted all the engine bay, so it looks absolutely mint in here, fitted this really nice strut brace to it. But let me show you some of the rest of it. It's an E46. Suspension and chassis. It's got Spax adjustable coilovers with adjustable damping. It's been fully polybushed front to back. It's got factory brakes. I believe it has the diff and drive shafts from the 328, but I'm not 100% sure, I can't remember. But when I fit the V8 in this, I will probably have to adjust those again to slightly larger ones, maybe an M3 diff or M3 rear end, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. It will need the subframe reinforcing because, as we know, E46s, the arse sometimes likes to fall out of them. Other than that, I think I want to leave it looking as it is. Let me know in the comments what you think. I do want to change these though. These trims here, it's had the roof bars removed, and these have just got electrical tape covering them up. And I would like to try and find some maybe carbon fiber trims or something like that to replace these and make it look a bit tidier. Now, this car has not got any rust. It's never been welded, and underside is really clean as well, which is also rare for an E46, which is again why I want to use this as my donor car to put a V8 in it. Other than that, I think we're all done. Should we go out for a drive in it?
Before that though, a reminder from me, as ever, that if you want to buy yourself a used car, van or motorbike, run a car vertical report on it first to ensure it's not being crashed, stolen or clocked. If we take Big P as an example, you can see that we've got green ticks for odometer, finance and damage. That tells me that this car does not have a shady past. And yes, I'm so glad I sold this to Taylor because it's so expensive. And now to give you guys an example of a car vertical report that would make me reconsider buying this Tesla Model S. We've got green ticks for odometer and finance, amber warning for damage. Scroll down a little bit and we can see crash pictures. The front left has had quite an almighty hit. Airbags have also gone off. And if we look further down the car vertical report, we can see that yes, this is a category S repairable structural damage. So not the end of the world, but you know that if you were to see this up for sale as a clean title car because of car vertical, that's a lie. So again, do yourselves and others a favor by running a car vertical report on any car, van or motorbike that you want to buy. What's more, to sweeten the deal, you, yes you, will get 20% off using the code V2. Back to it.
So, my E46 Touring. I've been daily in this car for about a month now, and do you know what? I absolutely love it. I love how it feels, I love how it drives. It feels really nimble, really sharp. It does have a purple tag steering rack, which is the sharpest steering rack that I believe you can get for an E46. So it feels really direct. It feels like a very small car compared to what it actually is. It doesn't feel like an estate car at all. It has got quite a nice amount of power, but at the same time, it is a little bit slow. It could do with a bit more, which is where I think the engine swap that I'm going to do to this car will really improve it, and obviously improve the noise as well. Which brings me on to the next part. It has a completely stock exhaust, so it is very quiet. It doesn't really inspire me to drive that quickly. When I do give it some, it goes quite well, but there's just not really that much excitement to it. The main thing with this car is the chassis. It just handles fantastically. It feels really nimble, really sharp. It feels really light as well, which is nice. I want to keep the handling characteristics of this car, but I want to improve the power, improve the performance, and make it sound like a V8. Because if there's one thing I love in this world, is a V8, because you're never straight in a V8. I love the fact that I can float about in it. It's really easy to drive, and I can chuck whatever I want in the back. I mean, over the last couple of weeks, I've had all sorts of stuff in the back. I've done a tip run in it. It's just brilliant. There's loads of space. I can carry comfortably 4 passengers. I just love an E46. There's something about an E46. I always go back to them, always. I mean, I've had probably close to about 100 of them by now. And I always said to myself that I really wanted a nice one to keep. And I thought that was going to be the Alpina. Now, when Lee approached me and said that he'd like to buy it, I wasn't expecting him to offer this to me because he's had this car for a long time. And when he did, I thought, okay, yeah, you know, I'll sell it on. And then I got it and I realized how much this car meant to my friend Lee. And, you know, he said to me, please don't sell it to someone that's going to ruin it and, you know, crash it or break it for spares or whatever. And I felt really bad. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to drive it about for a week or so. And the more I drove this car, the more I became attached to it. I just really, really like it. It's one of the best E46s I've driven, genuinely. Oh, yes. I just love this shifter. It's like the Alpina all over again, but slightly more, I don't know how to explain it. It's slightly shorter than the Alpina. I used to drive the Alpina and want to change gear all the time. I'm literally exactly the same in this. It's just, yeah. It's like a rifle. It is absolutely fantastic. I definitely want to keep that when the V8 goes in. Another thing I like about these cars is the interior is really simple, but everything works. You know where everything is. It's not too complicated. It is nicely made. I like the wood trim. I really like the leather. An E46 always smells like an E46. I just really like them. And there's just something about having a Touring I really, really like an estate. Because you can chuck whatever you want in the back. You can put a dog in it. You can put people in it. You can just do whatever. And they're just so versatile. You can sleep in it if you want to. Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe when we've built our 3 Tourings, we should go on a big road trip and camp in them and sleep in them and do all sorts of crazy stuff with them. So there we have it, an introduction into my new to me E46 Touring. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stick around for next time when me and Rory have a game of engine swapsies, and we take the engine out of this and simply hop, skip and jump it into his E28, which should take only 5 minutes. Don't forget to like and subscribe and stick around for next time. I'll see you later.